Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. Check out this song. Now this might sound familiar to you, maybe because it has the standard 4 chords of rock, right? It has the so that would be the 1 chord, D, to the 4, to 6, to 5. I've made videos on this talking about the 4 chords of rock music or pop music. So it sounds familiar because of that. Let me play it again for you. That's actually 2 songs playing simultaneously. It's Anyone, the current huge hit by Justin Bieber, and Going Home by Toto. I'm going to alternate between the 2 songs now. Check it out. Toto, Bieber. Toto, Bieber. This just occurred to me recently. Last week I interviewed Steve Lukather from Toto, and as I was going through their catalog of songs, I went back and I listened to Toto 20, like you do to prepare for an interview. And I listened to it and I realized that that's exactly like the Justin Bieber song. I had just featured Justin Bieber's song on my top 10 songs from Spotify on a video that came out on January 12th. Here it is. Wow, that's nice. 3. So this occurred to me that, well, let's see how similar these are. And then I looked and I said, okay, well, they're both in the same key. They both have the same melody. The Toto song is slightly faster, so I slowed it down in this example by maybe 1 BPM and lined them up by the kick drums. Now, the Toto song was not played to a click, and it has ebb and flow to it because it's played by humans and there's not a drum machine element to it. But what are the chances that they both have exactly the same melody? So when I find something like this, the first thing that I do is try to find if anyone in the songwriting group from Justin Bieber's camp may have been familiar with the song, because the Toto song, I guess, was a single, but most people wouldn't know it. It was the return of Bobby Kimball, the original lead singer. It was recorded in 1989, I believe, and then released in 1998 on this compilation record. And so I looked at the birth dates of the 9 writers involved on the Justin Bieber song. 9 writers. And we talk about this on here a lot, about how pop songs are never written by one person anymore. They're written by a committee of people. And I noticed that they were all born in the 90s. Then I looked at, well, what about the production team? Well, the production team are the songwriters. They're called the Monsters and Strangers, which you can see here that has the same songwriters. So it's a production team that's writing songs with Justin Bieber. Now, Going Home was written by David Page from Toto, who also wrote Rosanna and played on Thriller and countless records. Joseph Williams, who's the current singer of Toto, and John Williams, the greatest film composer of all time, son, and Jeff Porcaro, who was the drummer of Toto, who was one of the greatest studio drummers of all time. As a side note, Joseph Williams also put this same song out on his own solo record in the key of C in 1997. Is this such a common chord progression that it's going to produce this particular melody eventually? If you take these 4 chords, D major, the notes that sound good on it are the notes of the chord. And there's only 3 notes in the chord: D, F sharp, and A. That's what makes up a D major chord. Now you can have extra other notes, like E sounds good on it, which is the 9th. You've got 3 or 4 notes that sound good over each chord. So you're really limited when you have these chords, right? D, G, B minor, A. When there are thousands and thousands of songs with that exact same chord progression, you're bound to have repetition of melodies. But really, though, what are the chances that you have a melody that has exactly the same rhythm to the words, exactly the same shape, in the same key, at basically the same tempo, and that you can overlay the 2 songs and they fit almost perfectly together? right? It could happen. But is there a greater chance that someone in the songwriting team heard the song, maybe a few years ago, and that melody stuck in their head? Oh, that's a good melody. Many times songwriters will go back and listen to other songs for inspiration. I mean, not many times, pretty much all the time. We all do that. We go and listen to kind of get a vibe for what to write about. Maybe there's a particular sonic thing that we have in our head, even on a production level. And this is a production team working with Justin Bieber. If you go later on in the song, anyone, to this part, check out the toms here. Right here. It's like a Phil Collins type 80s Phil. So maybe they were going for an 80s sound on some of it, and they were looking back at 80s bands for inspiration. Another theory may be that when Africa by Toto became a massively big hit again a couple years ago, that songwriters and producers went back and listened to Toto's catalog. Toto has amazing songs. And because that particular song, Goin' Home, was the first song on Toto 20, that they may have come across it, and the melody stuck in their head, and subliminally they copied it. That's a very distinct possibility as well. In regards to the rest of the song, the verses are nothing alike. The lyrics are nothing alike. The content of the lyrics are nothing alike. I really like the Justin Bieber song. It's incredibly well produced. It's got a beautiful melody. The only thing that bothers me is the just over-the-top use of auto-tune in it, the auto-tune artifacts. After a while, that just becomes, to me, it's fatiguing to the ear to hear it. It's just so repetitive hearing that heavy auto-tune. Get him to sing it right in the studio, nail those notes, and let's have a real performance of someone singing a note without the aid of pitch correction. To me, that would be novel at this point and sound more original. Let me talk a little bit more about the melody. The Justin Bieber song actually starts on D over F sharp as opposed to Toto, which starts on D major. It's a first inversion D major chord though. But the melody, right? So goes down to the root and then up to the third on the G to the ninth, and then on B minor to B minor 7, and then down to the 6 to the 5 on A major. Both the songs have that exact same move. Toto uses A sus in there, but it's really the exact same melodic direction. The thing about that D over F sharp, the inversion that happens at the beginning of the Justin Bieber song, the third time around Toto, they play the exact same chord. So the question is, why do writers keep using 1, 4, 5, and 6? I mean, so many songs are written with that chord progression. If they want to write original melodies, you have to come up with original chord progressions, or at least unusual ones. Take Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead. Granted, it's 20 years old, but the chorus of that song starts on F sus, really, everything, and then F sus, F, C major, D flat major 7 sharp 11, E flat 6 9, right? And they have those other cool notes like that A flat in there, that dissonance. To me, that is creative songwriting. There's so many cool places you can go, but to have 9 people, 9 writers or producers involved, and you write a song that has 1, 4, 5, and 6, the same chords, is really a waste of creativity and resources, right? These people together, you would think, would come up with something really cool, really originally, really creative. What I think about is, why do labels or why do artists not write their own songs? Now, granted, there's plenty of people that are singers that really are not writers. Justin Bieber is an excellent musician. If you've ever seen him play drums, watch some videos on YouTube of him playing drums. He's a real deal musician. Labels should let their artists write their own songs. Too many times they say, okay, we're going to get this songwriter, that songwriter, and they don't even give the artists a chance to actually learn how to write songs and become better songwriters. When I interviewed Steve Lukather from Toto, he talks about the 4th album. That was the goal, to get there. By that 4th album, you're writing your best songs. Toto 4 was their best record. Zeppelin 4. Think about these. I mean, there's so many great examples. U2 Joshua Tree was their 6th album. Their first record, Boy, was not a great record. It takes artists a long time to become great songwriters, and typically making records is a great way to become great songwriters. Anyways, love to know your thoughts on this. Leave the comments here and let me know if you think it sounds like it or if it doesn't. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're a first-time viewer, ring the bell. That'll let you know when I go live and when a new video comes out. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. That's very important. If you're interested in the Beato book, go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. Follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. Check out the new Beato ear training program at beatoeartraining.com. And if you want to support the channel even more, think about becoming a member of the Beato Club. Thanks for watching.